Every campfire burns a little different. Some warm the living, some guide the lost, and some glow red with stories no man should tell. Embers crack like bones in the night, casting shadows that twisted out of sight. Whiskey smoke drifted low and slow, carrying secrets only the dead might know. A torn saddlebag lay near the flame, filled with memories I refuse to name. Voices rose from the ash-cloaked land, campfire stories of the damned. Oh, the flames whispered soft and cruel, spilling tales no preacher taught in school. Every spark fell like a guilty brand, campfire stories of the damned. Wolf circled where the darkness bled, guarding the tales of the long gone dead. A rusted spur chimed, and in the dust echoing sins buried under rust. The fire glowed red like a warning sign, painting my past in a crooked line. And I felt truth slipping through my hand, with campfire stories of the damned. Oh, the flames whispered soft and cruel, spilling tales no preacher taught in school. Every spark fell like a guilty brand, from campfire stories of the damned. Maybe the night don't fear the wrong, it hums their tune and hums it long. Maybe a man finds who he is when he stands inside the fire of the damned. Oh, the dark leaned heavy and slow, telling me things I didn't want to know. My soul shivered like shifting sand, hearing campfire stories of the damned. When the last ember died, the silence stayed burning, as if the damned themselves weren't quite done speaking. They say the canyon keeps its stories, etched in stone, carved by storms. And when the dust turns copper red, the wind carries every sin a rider left behind. Dust curled up around my boots, like it remembered every haunted truth. The cliff stood silent, tall and grim, watching the years grow dark and dim. A raven circle where the rim drops thin, calling out warnings on the rising wind. I felt the earth hum beneath my tread, like it knew the blood the canyon shed. Oh, the wind cried sharp and hollow, dragging the past no man can follow. Every breath felt carved in sin, blood riding on the canyon wind. Spur lay in the sand below, rust on the metal dried like sorrow. Tracks lit off where the shadows bled, telling the tale of a life misled. Thunder rolled far across the plain, sounding like ghosts remembering pain. My heart beat a reckoning deep within, hearing the truth in the canyon wind. Oh, the cried sharp and hollow, dragging the past no man can follow. Every breath felt carved in sin, blood riding on the canyon wind. Maybe a man can't outrun fate, not the choices that came too late. Maybe the earth keeps score again, whispered soft through the canyon wind. Oh, the night felt heavy and wide, pulling my fears to the mountainside. And I knew redemption grows thin, with blood carried on the canyon wind. When the last breeze faded to still, the canyon held the truth tight, like it always had, waiting for the next lost soul to listen. They say a man's soul settles where he leaves his hat last, on some quiet patch of earth that remembers him better than most folks ever did. Dust rose slow around the tracks he made, fading like the choices he never repaid. Sun burned low on the dying plain, casting long shadows of his lingering pain. A torn brim rested on a weathered stone, marking the place he stood alone. Wind whispered tales of the life he'd led, right where the last outlaw laid his head. Oh, the prairie side soft and hollow, calling a name no law could follow. Silence held tight to the stories it kept, where the last outlaw laid his hat and slept. A broken lariat swayed from a twisted pine, like it still remembered every fraying line. Boot prints ended by a creek run dry, as though he vanished clean into the sky. Coyote sang low to the dying light, serenading the end of a long, hard fight. My heart felt the truth the desert met, where the last outlaw found his final rest. Oh, the prairie sighed soft and hollow, calling a name no law could follow. Silence held tight to the stories it kept, where the last outlaw laid his hat and slept. Maybe a man don't choose his end, maybe the earth just calls him in. Maybe peace is a promise kept, where a worn-out hat has finally slept. Oh, the dust fell heavy and wide, gathering ghosts on the mountainside, and the wind told the tale without regret, where the last outlaw laid his hat and slept. Some places hold a man forever, even long after he's gone. Sometimes all that's left behind is the hat that knew him best. Some nights burn slow, light whiskey catching fire in a dying sun, and a man learns real quick what parts of him were meant to burn. Golden light sinking past the canyon brink, fading slow like a half-forgotten hymn. A bottle glow warm in my trembling hand, tasting like truth I could barely withstand. Shadows dance red on the dusty ground, like ghosts rising up without a sound. My heartbeat throb like an outlaw's drum, under whiskey flames beneath the dying sun. Oh, the fire lit up my shame, burning slow through every name. I lost myself one sip at a time, undone by whiskey flames beneath the dying sun. Smoke curls soft from the desert breeze, carrying secrets meant to bring me to my knees. A cracked old hymn hum low in my chest, begging for mercy I never confessed. The world turned copper, brittle and slow, as if time itself didn't wanna go. Still the night crept close, one final run, chasing whiskey flames beneath the dying sun. I lost myself one sip at a time, undone by whiskey flames beneath the dying sun. Truth is a burning brand, pressed deep on the heart of a broken man. Maybe redemption and ruin weigh the same, until dust decides which one to claim. Oh, the rising bled out red and white, dragging my sins to the western side. I felt the last of who I was come undone. Whiskey flames beneath the dying sun. And when the bottle finally emptied, the night knew more of me than I ever dared to know myself. Some men try to outrun their past, but the mountains don't forget. They hold every echo, every sin, every whispered name carved into their stone. Curled down the jagged ridge, carrying tales no soul could bridge. My boots struck ground older than pain, where the rocks still murmured a cursed refrain. A raven perched on a withered pine, watching me walk the same worn line. The earth felt heavy, ancient, untamed, where the mountains remembered his name. Oh, the peaks cried low, calling truths buried out of sight. Every shadow rose like a claim, where the mountains remembered his name. Thunder rolled like a long lost debt, echoing footsteps I tried to forget. A torn bandana hung from a rusted nail, flapping like a ghost in the mountain gale. Stone markers lean from years of grief, telling stories carved sharp and brief. I heard my heartbeat falter and wane, where the mountains remembered his name. Oh, the peaks cried low tonight, calling truths buried out of sight. Every shadow rose like a claim, where the mountains remembered his name. Maybe the land don't forgive a fate, it holds a shape every outlaw made. Maybe a man becomes what he can't reclaim, when the mountains remember his name. night grew cold and wise, reading my sins in the open skies. And I knew I'd never outrun the flame, as long as the mountains remembered his name. And when the wind finally stilled, the silence spoke clearer than any voice, carrying his name one last time through the stone. Some men leave footprints, others leave warnings, but a man with a sin on his back, he leaves a shadow that never quits falling. Dust rolls slow beneath my weary stride, trailing the weight I could never hide. Every mile felt carved in blame, branded deep like a cursing name. Coyotes cried where the ridge ran thin, howling truths I buried in sin. The night pressed close like a hanging threat, the sin that followed every step. Like a guilty arrow, no prayer can make the darkness forget the sin that followed every step. A broken fence leaned toward the sky, as if asking heaven for a reason why. Lanterns flickered where old ghosts awake, marking the lines a man can remake. Wind scraped whispers across my trail, reading my past like a mournful tale. My heart beat slow like a dull regret for the sin that followed every step. Oh, the road ran long and narrow, cutting deep like a guilty arrow. No prayer could make the darkness forget the sin that followed every step. Maybe mercy's just a story told, warm in the fire but cold on the soul. Maybe fate keeps every debt and sends a sin to follow each step. Oh, the night grew heavy and wide, pulling my truth from where it tried to hide. Even the moon shone sharp and wet on the sin that followed every step. And when the trail finally ended, that shadow of mine didn't. It kept walking, as if it still had something left to haunt. fire don't just burn the land, it burns a man who runs from it. And some plains never forget the ones who fled them in flame. Smoke crawling low on the shattered ground, ash swirling quiet without a sound. My boots kicked embers from a dying ridge, heat licking close like a final pledge. The sky glowed red with a vengeful light, chasing my shadow through the choking night. Every breath felt stolen, harsh and strange, for the rider who fled the burning plains. Oh, the fire called out my name, tried to drag me back to where I came, but the wind pushed hard like a wild lost flame, for the rider who fled the burning plains. A scorched trail twisted beneath the moon, echoes of danger humming like a tune. Charred bones marked where the heat once roared, a graveyard born from the wildfire sword. Even the stars felt distant and cold, shining on stories no one ever told. Still the night kept pulling at the reins of the rider who fled the burning plains. Oh, the fire called out my name, tried to drag me back to where I came, but the wind pushed hard like a wild lost flame, for the rider who fled the burning plains. Maybe a man can outrun the flame, but not the guilt that knows his name. Maybe the past still clings and remains like smoke from the burning plain. Oh, the dawn broke harsh and wide, ash still clinging to my hide, but the road kept beating like untamed veins, for the rider who fled the burning plain. Last ember died, the silence followed, like it still knew where I'd run. They say horses see things in the dark that men are too afraid to notice. And on a broken trail at midnight, their shadows always ride a little ahead of you. Moonlight shimmered on their restless mane, like silver ghosts running wild and untamed. Hooves struck sparks on the fractured stone, beating a rhythm older than bone. The night breathed cold across the open land, tracing our path like an unseen hand. I felt the truth in every trembling rail. Midnight horses on the broken trail. Oh, the wild ran deep and hollow, calling the hearts too warm to follow. Every echo felt sharp as a nail, ridden by midnight on the broken trail. Cedar trees swayed like watchful souls, garden secrets no daylight knows. A distant howl rode the drifting wind, sounding like mercy for a world of sin. Their eyes burned bright in the fading light, lanterns of fire cutting through the night. My breath shook soft like a fragile tale, riding with horses on the broken trail. Oh, the wild ran deep and hollow, calling the hearts too warm to follow. Every echo felt sharp as a nail, ridden by midnight on the broken trail. Maybe the road don't break, it bends, carrying riders to forgotten ends. Maybe forgiveness is lost in the gale, chasing midnight on a broken trail. Oh, the dark leaned heavy and wide, pulling old ghosts to my side. And the night rode truth in a mournful scale, midnight horses on the broken trail. When the hoofbeats faded, the silence felt alive, as if the trail itself was waiting for another soul to wander it. They say old bridges never forget. Not the footsteps, not the sins, and sure as dust turns red, the ghosts keep echoing long after the rails run cold. my boots. Like it remembered every man in pursuit. Wind slipped through broken beams and rust, carrying whispers buried deep in dust. A lantern flickered where the shadows crept, marking the place the dead ones slept. My breath turned thin as a whispered pledge, hearing ghost echoes from the old rail bridge. Oh, the night cried low and hollow, calling the names no soul should follow. Every step fell closer to the edge, ghost echoes from the old rail bridge. Freight car groaned in the distant black, sounding like time trying to drag me back. Rotted timber sighed beneath my stride, as though warning me of the other side. Moonlight trembled on the iron rails, painting the air with 1,000 tales. My heart beat hard like a solemn pledge, haunted by echoes from the old rail bridge. Oh, the night cried low and hollow, calling the names no soul should follow. Every step fell closer to the edge, ghost echoes from the old rail bridge. Past don't fade, it waits in the cracks the dead have made. Maybe a man finds truth on the ledge, listening close to an old rail bridge. Oh, the dark fell heavy and wide, pulling my sins to the riverside. And I knew some memories never dredge, living as ghost echoes on the old rail bridge. When the wind finally died, the silence carried their footsteps right past mine and into the waiting dark. Some stories ain't written in ink, carved in dust, lit by gunpowder sparks, and carried by men who never made it home. Smoke rising slow from a dying trail, hoof prints fading like a worn out tale. My coat still reeks of the night before, gunpowder clinging like a whispered war. Shadows crawled long across the bend, each one shaped like an old dead friend. Every heartbeat fell ragged and rough, and chronicles written in dust and gunpowder. Oh, the road remembers every flame, every sin tied to a wandering name. You can hear the past if you listen enough to chronicles written in dust and gunpowder. A rusted badge lies half buried in sand, a relic from a lawman who once took a stand. Bullet scars etched deep on a canyon wall, telling stories louder than any man's call. The wind carried ashes from a distant fight, glowing faint in the bruised twilight. Even the sky felt bitter and tough above chronicles written in dust and gunpowder. Oh, the road remembers every flame, every sin tied to a wandering name. You can hear the past if you listen enough to chronicles written in dust and gunpowder. Maybe truth ain't righteous or clean. Maybe it's found where ghosts convene. Maybe a man learns he's never enough, reading chronicles written in dust and gunpowder. Oh, the dust leaned heavy and low, tracing my past in an amber glow. Every memory sharp, every lesson rough, in the chronicles written in dust and gunpowder. And when the wind finally settled, the silence felt explosive, like the last breath of a story that refused to die.